All right, good morning, guys. Welcome to June's late Making Bank with Photography coaching program, Zoom. Here's Kevin. Today, we're going to listen to me fail in a really impressive way, I think. I listened to the call last time, the phone call last time to see if it was worth listening to. It was quite long. I had 2 calls where I actually succeeded in getting the booking on the phone. I thought they were a better fit for last time. I listened to the call again in preparation for this call, and it is long. There is one pause that's quite long, and I'm going to skip over that. And there are some pauses that I think are worth listening to, because they're not extraordinarily long, but it gives you a sense of how I can be quiet for a bit when I think it's appropriate and just wait for the person to talk. So I thought this was I was proud of this, because as you listen to the call, you'll see that I kept the conversation going using various techniques, and it almost worked, but failed in the end. You'll see. So, hi, Markel. Let me pull it up.
Hi there.
We can listen. You ready to listen to me fail? I will mention, in case you don't remember, I mentioned to the group the idea of listening to a failed phone call, and people generally wanted it. So if you don't feel this is valuable, the rest of the group did. So feels weird. Here's how to not get someone booked on the phone. I had it pulled up, and then I was doing my testimonial video, and I guess that audio took over. So I'm finding it again. All right, here we go. It's 25 minutes long, with like a minute maybe skipped nearer the end.
Hello.
Hi, Aletha. It's John with High End Hood Shops.
Hi, John. Okay, so this was your number. I'm
Yes,
sorry. I missed your call yesterday.
That's okay. No problem. I know some people think I'm a strange number. Some people think I'm a strange person or a stranger. I don't know if I'm a stranger or a strange person, but whatever. I'm glad you answered. I guess I just call enough and someone will answer.
Oh, yeah. It's just yesterday, some things happened at work, so I thought I was going to be free, but
That's okay.
Things changed.
Yep. I get it. So I'm happy to connect. I like how you put it, that you're on a weight loss journey.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I don't want to say it's just 30 pounds is my goal,
Okay.
you know, but it's a lot.
You're trying to get down to 30. You're trying to get down to 30 pounds.
I know. I mean, meaning I'm trying to lose 30 pounds.
Yeah.
John.
I was about there. I lost 30 pounds before COVID, right before COVID. And I felt I felt and looked great. And then I gained about 30 during COVID, and now I've lost like 5. So.
Oh, yeah, I know that struggle all too well.
It was a stressful time for everybody. I think it's okay.
Exactly.
So I'm happy to explain how I work if you don't have questions first.
No, you can explain. Explain. I'll probably have questions afterwards.
That's good. You can stop me and ask anytime. I'll go over pricing first.
Okay.
It's $360 to book a session during the week without hair and makeup, or it's $760 to book a headshot during the week with hair and makeup.
Okay.
And I don't make you buy images now because you don't know what they look like. I don't know what they look like. I don't know if they'll be great or wonderful. There'll be one of those two, but I'm not sure which. So you don't really know the images you want until you see them. So you buy the images at the end, they're $365 a piece.
Okay.
The fun part of what I do is the facial expression coaching. This is what people have never experienced, except for one person who shot with the assistant of my mentor, who's considered the best headshot photographer in the world. Everybody else is like, this is totally different than anything I've experienced before. It's facial expression coaching. It involves, in a sense, it kind of involves this call because it's easier to do my job if people arrive relaxed than if they're unsure of what's going to happen, how it's going to work or whatever. So, but really it starts when you get in the studio. If you get hair and makeup, you'll get that done. We'll do test shots. We'll do any revisions to the hair and makeup. And then before we take any more pictures, once we're good with that, I tell you things about your face you didn't know, about how it works when it works authentically and you're on the happy side of things. And I tell you the 4 things I care about, and I go over that with my body and face to show you what I'm talking about. So you understand what I'm going to be coaching you to do and why. And that puts us on the same page so that I can do the coaching while I'm taking your pictures. We do image review. So I analyze pictures with you to help you get better in front of the camera and to grow your confidence in front of the camera. And most importantly for that part, you give me feedback about anything you're not liking especially, but also anything you're especially liking about a given shot. And that means that you're getting better through the process and I'm getting better at coaching you for the images you're gonna like during the process. And then at the end, after any clothing changes and we get variety of expression and backgrounds and crops even maybe, then I help you choose. I help you delete the shots you want to delete. And whenever we get to the point where you don't want to delete anymore, you buy those images. Those are the images you'll get. They're retouched and they will be delivered to you by email in about a week.
Oh, wow. Wow. Sounds like a very thorough process. I've never heard of like the coaching.
Yes, it's I don't know if anyone else does it like I do it. So yeah, it's carefully thought out. It's a great experience. It's a flexible time. That's another thing a lot of photographers have, like it's a half an hour session or whatever. If you want it to be 20 minutes, it can be 20 minutes. But if you want it to be an hour and a half, because you want a wider variety of images for a set of images with more variety in them, then we can spend the time. It's high-end headshots, not economy, get them in, get them out headshots.
Wow. Wow. No, this is really exciting.
Good.
Yeah, I'm just looking to like rebrand.
Okay.
I guess,
I like that.
So yeah, that's why like with the weight loss and just trying to move forward with my career and
absolutely. We should rebrand every 2 years anyway.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So how long is this journey gonna last?
In terms of like the weight loss journey?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, at this point, I'm only down 2 pounds.
Okay.
So I'm hoping within the next 3 months.
Okay.
The next 3 months, I can.
Some people like to schedule their headshot session as a deadline.
That makes sense.
And I also give you a free reschedule. I give everyone a free reschedule for any reason more than a day in advance. So you can always just bump it out if the journey takes a little longer.
That makes sense.
Does that sound good? Would that be motivating?
If it's in, so 3 months from now we're in April, May, June, July. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Would you want hair and makeup for the 760, or would you want to do it yourself or have somebody do it and do the 360 session?
Do you have can I see the work of the person that's doing it?
Yeah, so almost every woman on my website has the hair and makeup. Women typically go for that. So are you at a computer?
Or you want to work? Let me
Or you can just put me on speaker and do it on your phone.
Yeah.
It's
doing that.
highendheadshots.com.
Let me see.
I've had successful sessions when people do their own makeup. The preparation guidelines that come with the email have guidelines for hair and makeup. It's basically just, unless you wear a lot of makeup and that's how you're presented, that's how people meet you. I push people to do a very natural makeup, especially around the eyes probably, because my lighting gets into the eyes. So I feel like the reason people put darker shades around their eyes is to make the whites of their eyes look white in contrast. But I actually light the eyes so they will look white.
Makes sense. Yeah, I like this look. Very
Good.
natural.
So would you like to do the makeup? Makeup and hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I,
And then I usually shoot Tuesdays and Fridays. Does one work better for you than the other?
just Tuesdays and Fridays.
That's what I go to. If you need a different day, you can let me know and I'll look at my personal calendar and see.
We're aiming for, this is April, May, June, July. That's Tuesdays and Fridays.
I have a lot of people really like that I start a session at 6 p.m., which is after work for almost everybody on both days. And you're booking out far enough that I'm sure that a 6 o'clock session in July is probably going to be available.
Okay. Do I have to book the session today? Because I need to check. There are a few events that I have going on in July that I haven't put on my calendar, aside from like a wedding.
Yeah, you absolutely don't need to book today, but I'd like you to book today. And if you want to book, I'll give you two free reschedules. One this week, if you want to use it. You can check later, make sure that it's not overlapping anything important. And if you let me know this week that you want to move it, we'll just switch it around. And then you'll still have the free reschedule, so you can reschedule if you're 2 weeks out.
Let me actually.
This is the kind of service you can expect. I'm reasonable and I want to get your business.
I totally understand. Hold on, let me find my calendar. You need to start using Google.
Are you on a paper calendar?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I'm very old school in that way. I've been told.
What were the 1950s like?
I don't know.
I have the Remarkable 2. Do you know about that?
No, what's that?
It's a tablet, but it's very much like paper and pen. So I do use an electronic calendar, but I really do appreciate like actually writing things with my hand on the paper or on a tablet. So I get the appeal of that.
I can get you guys $40 off the Remarkable 2 if you want.
Oh, shoot. Let me see. June, will you be available like after 2 today?
After 2, yeah, probably works. Yep.
Okay, because I have to prepare for I have a call at 11.
Okay.
I forgot.
Only takes a minute to give me your credit card information.
This was like 10:58 a.m. and she's saying she has a call at 11 now.
Let me see. Hold on.
That's probably why I said it only takes a minute, because we had 2 minutes until the call.
Instead of making excuses, we can just get this done. I'm just kidding with you. I'm just kidding.
not necessarily excuses.
I know, I'm only razzing you. You'll see when we shoot. So I coach you explicitly on what to do with your face, but I also say things that are just off the wall that come to mind, or funny things I say to a lot of people, and none of it's serious. So that's me.
Okay. Uh-oh. Um, Give you my debit card, not my credit card. Just
Okay.
that's my. Um, moment. This is maybe possible. And you said how much is it?
It's 760.
760. Hold on. Okay. It's money from my savings because
I had a client who had to call her bank and get authorization. She was buying so many images the other day. She was using the debit card. They wouldn't let her buy it unless she called and verified her information and stuff. It was kind of funny.
yeah, let me see because 760. I just moved into a new place. I gotta see what my
A new bank.
oh no, not a new bank.
Oh,
A new apartment.
oh, okay.
I've been buying a lot of furniture and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Furniture. I know about that.
Yeah, I just bought my couch this morning, so let me check my limit on any problems. Oh. Okay. I think I should be good.
All right. When do we want to do it? Beginning, middle, end of the month?
Let's try. Should have to be the end.
Okay, we can do the end.
So you said Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah, that's best, but if you need something else, you let me know.
Let's see. One moment, please.
Sure. I'm very patient when people are giving me money.
No.
I told my wife that. She still doesn't give me any money.
One moment. Yes.
Waiting.
Shit.
The more I listen to it, the more surprised I am I didn't get the booking. She was transferring money.
She sounds like she's in pain.
Yeah. Beauty is pain.
It is, it is.
I mean, I think that goes to, she really wanted it.
Very patient.
Sorry.
That's okay, that's okay.
I was talking there because I'm like, what is going on? This is way too long.
I'm gonna call an ambulance soon.
No, I'm sorry. I'm waiting for confirmation from my partner before,
Okay.
you know. I just sent him a text message.
He doesn't know how great the photos are. Or the experience. Did you explain all that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Of course I didn't, but no, I'm trying to see if he has, if he can get on the call, maybe,
Okay.
because we're kind of on a little debt-free journey, along with my weight loss journey, all of these journeys. So,
Okay.
but this is important. This is really
It's
important.
never just one journey.
Yeah. Let me see. And you said it's did you say 768? How much was it?
760. 768 would be really strange.
Okay. All right. Hold on one moment.
Sure.
He's calling.
Sure.
Hold on.
Yep.
Forgot where the pause started. Let me,
Oh,
yeah, this is the pause.
she also has an
I was
11.
talking to Maureen, who was listening in. Let's see. So it's like it's a minute and a half that I'm saving you guys from just sitting there. Thanks, John. No problem.
Hello, John.
Hey there.
Hi. So I have my boyfriend on the line. His name is Benjamin. Could you explain to him like what you explained to me?
Hey, Benjamin, how are you?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing well. What I do is different than a lot of other photographers, probably all other photographers. I do, well, you haven't seen my work, but you could go to highendheadshots.com on your phone if you want. I create headshots that build trust and create connection and are much more like meeting people in person than headshots where they're told to say cheese or smile. And obviously they're marketing assets, so they open doors that wouldn't have been opened otherwise. I do facial expression coaching. So before we take any serious pictures, besides the, sometimes we do hair and makeup test shots if the person hires the hair and makeup artist. But after that, I teach people about their face. I tell them about the 4 things that I care about in a headshot. We're on the same page so that I can coach them while we shoot on their face. We review images. I analyze them with the client throughout the shoot so that they get better. And they give me feedback about what they're liking and especially anything they're not liking so that we can either change hair if it's something like that, change outfits if they're not liking the outfit. And then if they're, for example, saying that, you know, this is too smiley, it's not professional enough, or they don't like that when they're looking directly into the camera. Stuff like that affects how I coach people so that the shots get better and better as we go. And then I review images at the end and help them narrow down to the best of the best. And they delete until they're done deleting and they want the remaining images.
Oh, okay. And John, can you explain like the pricing to him?
Sure. It's $360 for a session during the week without hair and makeup. It's $760 to book a headshot session with one of my hair and makeup artists before the shoot starts. And each image is $365 at the end of the session that you don't want to delete, that you want to keep. Those images are retouched and delivered by email in about a week.
Okay, that's not bad.
Do you want to come in too, Benjamin?
Yeah. So I will want to. We've already started talking about it, but since I've heard of the prices and stuff like that, I want to talk to my partner and see when we can do that.
We were looking at the end of July.
Right now, I would say on my part, I'm not ready for it right now.
You're not ready? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are other things that are also in place that we need to take care of. So, I mean, I can't take the decision by myself. So, I'll talk to her and we'll get back to you about the feedback and then when we can book a session.
Okay, that sounds good. One thing I really like to do with couples is have them in together, especially when the woman is in hair and makeup, I shoot the guy. And then when I'm done shooting the guy, she's done with hair and makeup, I shoot her. And then presumably they love each other. So I take a few minutes at the end of the session and shoot.
Okay, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. All right, you can talk and we'll be in touch.
Okay. Yeah, she's gonna give back as soon as we conclude on a day.
Okay. Sounds great.
All right. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Sorry, I thought I was on mute.
I thought you unmuted specifically to laugh. All right, so let me just go over what I thought of the call basically and just summarize how it went. I think this was an organic inquiry, and we started talking about the weight loss. I have history with weight loss. Unfortunately, it's history. Then I went for the spiel. I left space for her to talk after that. I knew she wanted to do these after weight loss, so I asked how long the journey was going to be. She said, and she was suggesting that in a few months she would schedule. So I talked about the deadline, motivation to get it done by this date if she books now. We talked about hair and makeup. She wanted to see examples. I felt like this was a stall. Maybe it was genuine. I guess it did seem to be genuine because I addressed it. She saw some examples and she was moving forward. You'll notice that I pointed her to my website, not to the two profiles of the two hair and makeup artists I usually use. That way it's my work and not other clients who wanted different kinds of makeup. That way she doesn't have to go to two sites. That's the way we keep looking at headshots and talking about headshots and not hanging up and her looking at them later because it's too complicated. She sees more examples of my work, which makes her, I would think, want to book with me more. I think she did say she wasn't at a computer, so I had her go to her phone instead of putting it off and checking in later. Then she was just thinking about it. So I provided comfort basically with the hair and makeup, saying that people have had successful sessions without the hair and makeup artist, but it's good to do. And then I talked about Tuesdays and Fridays. And she asked if she had to book today, and I gave her another free reschedule. This is when I was offering one free reschedule, and I limited it to this week. So it's just book something that you think will work in the next week. Check your calendar, see if you scheduled something else before and you need to keep that, and you can reschedule. Then you still have the one. Then there was we talked about the calendar, talked about the Remarkable 2 because I was just waiting. So I was trying to keep her engaged, hopefully hurry her up without hurrying her up. She asked if she could talk after 2 because she had a call at 11, which was in 2 minutes, I think. And then I went with it only takes a minute to give me your credit card information. And then I said the thing about you can stop making excuses and just do this. And that didn't go over very well, or it sounded like it might have not have gone over that well. It's not necessarily clear, but it seemed like it kind of wasn't taken like a joke. So I backtracked a little and I took the chance to explain that this is how I shoot. I say crazy stuff and people find it funny usually. And then I waited. And she talked about her debit card and credit card. I joked about the client who bought so many. This, I think, would build excitement. Maybe it built nervousness in this instance because she was worried about spending too much, but I might have done that differently if I had known how the rest of the call went. I didn't know she was on a debt-free journey. I probably, if I had known that, I wouldn't have mentioned that. But I was thinking that it shows how great it is that someone needed to call their bank for authorization because the bank wouldn't let them buy so many images. We talked about the end of the month. I waited. I joked about being patient when people are giving me money. It was another long time. I didn't know what was happening, and I was waiting a long time for a phone call because she was like getting her credit card out and transferring money. So I figured, I don't know what she's doing, but I'm willing to wait a couple minutes when it seems like she's about to buy the session. I made the joke about being very patient after a while, and then I made the joke about the ambulance. While we were, the part I skipped over, I was telling Maureen, I'm going to get him in too. Like, why not? Get them both in. She spent so much of my time waiting for her and talking to her that I should get 2 bookings. I asked if he wanted to come in. He said he wasn't ready. I feel like I should have said, okay, well, let's get her in then. Because I talked about getting them both in and he said he wasn't ready. So I could have pushed for getting her in. I think it would have been exactly the same response, but it would have been a possibility that he would have been like, fine, we'll get her in. I missed that. And then instead of going that direction, I talked about my couples process because I felt like it was over. I tried, I waited, I tried. It's not happening. So I told him about the couples process and, hopefully that will help me get them later. I still haven't gotten either of them. But I just thought it was a good example of several ways of keeping the conversation going. I think it was successful as a call that ends up in not booking can be, in the sense that she was going to pay and she was going to transfer money and she was finding her credit card, and I thought, came as close as you can beat a booking without booking. It was really the boyfriend who was the issue. I don't get significant others on the phone with decisions about headshots very often. So I thought it was worth sharing. I hope you thought it was worth sharing, and now we can talk about it. Anybody has any questions?
I think it was good. You were really quick, like with going with the flow and the turns of how this thing was going. I was impressed with that. It's like, how to keep, I felt that was impressive.
Well, it comes with practice. I feel like I am fairly quick. Like, if you know me, if you've been on these calls, or, I'm a little bit, I think part of the reason why I'm sometimes funny is because I just think of things quicker in response to people, like the guy who was like, how are you structured? I'm like, I'm an S Corp. I knew that wasn't what he was talking about, but I came up with that on the fly. So in a way, I'm quick on my feet sometimes. But some of it comes from other calls where I didn't do so well. I used to, when people would be like, I'm not sure about my schedule, I just like, okay, well, let me know. And that was it. I didn't know what to do, but I've learned to rely on my rescheduling. So as soon as she says, I don't know, it's now it's quick to me, when before it just didn't even come to me until I figured out what I wanted to say to that. So there were several things in there.
One thing I thought was really quick was when she said she was on this, 3-month weight loss, journey, and you said, okay,
Let's set it for 3 months. That'll help.
we can use that as motivation. I mean, that was, to me, like, wow.
That's another thing that I came up with. I might have come up with that on the fly in the first call where they talked about weight loss. I've used that when people say like, oh, I need to lose, 10 pounds, where it's not as, it's just like, oh, my jawline, I'm working on losing weight. So that's another thing that I've come up with through other calls. And I don't remember whether I came up with it thinking about a call after it was done and I messed it up, or something I thought of on the fly. But it's a bunch of things that I've done before in that call, but it just happened to be a long call with a lot of those things. So part of it's being a little quick on my feet, part of it, like I've never said very patient after another minute delay, or the ambulance thing. That's new, but a lot of the other stuff is from previous calls.
In your other calls, it seemed like you were listening a bit more to this one. It seemed like there was a little bit of pressure, a little bit more pressure than
Yeah.
other calls I've had you had the privilege of listening to.
Because she wouldn't buckle and book. I mean, after, I think someone, I thought it was maybe you, Kevin, maybe not, but someone was noting last time that I didn't listen much, that I was just talking through the process, getting their quick feedback and going to booking. So I'm not trying to say you're wrong, but this one, after I did that, I'm just, she said, that sounds great. I'm excited. Let me get my credit card. Oh, let me get my debit card. How much is it? So I feel like I was listening a lot, just not a lot was happening.
Yeah.
Not a lot was being said, I was waiting more than I was listening.
And it's interesting that her had texted someone
Yeah, that's
in that time, so there was
the
something else
longest,
going on.
the longest delay was caused by her trying to get her boyfriend sign off. So I didn't know that until near the end of the call. When I talked about the ambulance, I think she said, oh, I'm just texting my partner. And I was like, oh, I didn't know what was happening. I felt like it wasn't just transferring money, but I didn't know until then. So yeah. So you think I was not listening much?
No,
There's
well,
definitely more pressure.
Yeah, the one thing that comes to mind is I remember in another sales program that I've heard that once someone commits to something, you never talk about money again. Like once they say I'm in, you don't. You can talk about the weather, you can talk about anything else, but don't talk about the difficulty of getting the money together, or like how you can say how we're going to do this, but don't bring up any other sensitive topics about the money.
Yeah.
And I just wonder about.
She asked about money. She asked, is it 768? And I said, no, it's 760. You'll also notice when the boyfriend came on, she said, can you explain to him what you explained to me? I didn't. Usually I go to price, then process. I didn't talk about price. And then she asked me to clarify, tell him about pricing. So I did. So I feel like I did. I don't know. Did I go back and talk about money without her asking?
Oh, you would the joke about someone else with
Yeah.
their having to go back to get a approval from their bank.
Yeah.
And it's funny, she was getting approval from her boyfriend.
Yeah, as I said, I think knowing what I know from that call, I wouldn't have, maybe I wouldn't have otherwise, because I like what you're saying. And I'm going to tell you what I do typically now with individual sessions that does go against this advice. But to me, it wasn't about her spending a lot of money. It was about the person spending a lot of money. So she wasn't having bank problems. I thought she was. So I was just giving, to me, the defense of it would be that I was commiserating, like I was like, oh yeah, other people have had problems with their bank too, and they just call their bank and they get it paid. So I think you're right that maybe in this call it wasn't a good idea. But generally what I do when I'm booking individuals now is I say, okay, you're paying $760 now for the session, and we'll pay $365 per image, just sold pricing, $365 per image at the end of the session. And a reschedule is this much, and you have personal usage, you don't have commercial usage, and I'd love to use one of your images on social if that's okay. So I really don't want to get into a position where I'm in the studio and they're like, oh, I don't have any images. Like I have to buy images. So I make it super clear.
Well, I love the way you do that. Yeah.
I make it super clear, and I do bring up money again. But I don't recall a time where I've ever done that. And I've been doing that for probably 2 months now. And I don't ever recall them being like, oh, that's a lot. They're already in it. So I don't know. I guess that goes against the principle of never bringing up money against once they say they're in, but I want to make it clear. And I've never had someone back out after I remind them of the pricing.
Well, I really appreciate that you put the pricing right up front. That's, I think, really clarifies things, and you can judge people right away if they're, backpedaling.
Yeah. I think it kind of comes down to for me, it comes down to, I think I'm worth it. I don't think it's a ripoff. I'm not surprised they want to do it. I think it's good for them to do it. So I'm not afraid of pricing, and I'd rather have clarity and make sure they know. I feel like if they would back out if I clarify pricing before I swipe their card, then they're gonna potentially be problems down the road. Any other comments? Anything I could have done better?
Well, I also wanted to comment that when you said that maybe I should have said to the boyfriend, well, we'll just get her in now. That's, I think, just, I like how you are analyzing this yourself and like seeing how you can work this the next time. That's great. Your spiel, do you have this written out, or have you written out different times? Because
No,
it sounds, I've heard you change it over the last couple of years.
it changes every phone call to some degree. I'm sure sometimes it's pretty much the same, but I read people, if they're like, yeah, or something, I'm going to shorten it. If they're like, oh, this sounds amazing, I might embellish a little bit. It's case by case. It's not meant to be the same every time. As long as I get my points across, which is coaching, image review, or the talk about the face, the coaching during the session, the image review, and the image selection, and that they're retouched and delivered by email about a week, I'm good. It doesn't matter how I say it. I've talked about it enough that I'm pretty confident I'm not going to say anything by mistake or anything weird or whatever. So I want it to be like I'm talking to them. So I don't have a script. I don't think I've ever really written it out even once to try to get it right the first time.
I have a question. So it seemed to me that when she started like fumbling around, and it seemed like to me like she was trying to get out. Have you ever? And I would have kind of let it go because I have insecurities that makes me uncomfortable. But have you ever pursued it in the same scenario where it seems like they're trying to get out, and then you've turned them around? Because it seemed to me it was hopeless. But yeah.
I mean, when I found out she was texting the boyfriend, I my expectations lowered. But until then, which was like, I think 18 minutes into the call, she I just assume that she's telling the truth. I don't like that it took that long. It wasn't like a good sign that it was taking that long. But she had potential reasons. Like, I don't think people make up, I'm on a paper calendar, I can't find my paper calendar, So I assume she was just looking for her calendar. If, what I learned about them trying to become debt free goes along with debit cards, which goes along with transferring money because it's not in the checking account. So to me, it's not a positive, like, oh, this is going really, really well, this is going to work out. But it all makes sense. And I'm just assuming that it's all true. I mean, I think, I feel like if we had talked and I called before, but if we had talked before she bought the couch, she might have gone ahead without her boyfriend. I feel like I'm trying to think, there was one other factor. I feel like it was just timing. If she hadn't just moved into her new apartment, hadn't been buying all the furniture, I feel like she would have booked. So to me, like the last third of the call, I feel like, yeah, she wasn't probably going to book, but the first 2/3, to me, it just seems like a little bit more of a nerve-wracking kind of conversation.
She seemed slightly distracted.
Less comfortable. Yeah, she said she had a call. I don't know if she had a call. That could have been just false, trying to get off the phone. But then she talked for like 12 minutes after she had this call. So, people are free to just be like, it's not for me, check with me in 3 months and that'll be it. But I feel like I just give people the benefit of the doubt that they're being truthful. So yeah, I feel like criticism of this could be like, I wasted my time.
The last thing I would say was, it reminds me of Chris Voss, and there was a little bit of the getting to yes with the, and I've heard you use the negative method before, which is Chris Voss. You say, it sounds like, you're off on this, or you're not committed now, so that they can, empowers them to say, I don't know if other people know this in this Zoom call, but Chris Voss's method is, when people say no to something, it gives them a lot more power, and they're more comfortable with the relationship with the person selling to them. So I've just heard you say things in the no method before that worked better, and it seemed like it was a little bit salesy, or a little bit more getting to yes in this particular call.
Yeah, I know about that, and
It's muted.
It's muted. Can everybody else?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry.
You can. So yeah, I know about that in the back of my head. I don't think about that a lot. So yeah, it was definitely more pressure. I feel like it was more Grant Cardone-ish than Chris Voss-ish this time. But yeah, that's the call. So I think a criticism would be, you didn't get the sale. You spent 24 minutes on the phone, and you didn't spend 24 minutes, or 12 minutes cutting it short and getting back to work. But I don't know. Peter has a different opinion than I do, I think, which is, I think she was really close to booking. I was bypassing the boyfriend away from booking her session. So it was, to me, it was razor thin difference between no booking and, a $2,500 session. So I feel good about how it went. I feel like when the boyfriend got on, I kept it pretty short. That part was pretty short because it didn't seem like it was going well to me at that point. But up until then, I thought it was going well. Okay. Is that helpful? Does that, what I hope people would get from this and benefit from is seeing how you can take what some people would take as, this isn't going to work out, and keeping the conversation going. And I think I made progress towards the booking. until the boyfriend got on, when I think a lot of people would have hung up, ended the call, and like, maybe I'll get her in 3 months when she's done with weight loss, or maybe I'll get her when they've bought their furniture and they're back, with more cash. I don't know. That's what I would hope you'd get out of this.
It was good for me. Definitely. I got a lot of stuff out of it.
Good. Anybody else with anything not related to the call? Yes, Alyssa.
Okay, so going back to what we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
with I'm doing it for my portfolio. The first one's free. Anything else is $150. How do I handle retouching? So do I say, how do I handle retouching? Because there's a cost for that.
Well, you are volunteering to do retouching or get it retouched for the image that you're giving them. Your final images are retouched, so you should retouch them,
Right.
given to them. And then if they're buying more, your final product paid should be retouched. So you should get them retouched or retouch them when they buy them.
So if the retouching is like $20 or $30, let's say, do I just take that off of the $150, or do I say, and the retouch fee will be $30 for any picture that you want?
No, you should be charging your full image rate, which covers retouching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're not happy with getting $150 for an image that you retouch and deliver to them, you should raise your prices.
Okay. Perfect.
And to me, 30 is high. I wouldn't pay $30 for a retouched image. 20 is
Okay.
higher than I pay, but not, to me, not ridiculous, but that's on the more expensive side, I think.
So, and I know that people don't share their retoucher, but how do we find a good retoucher?
I've found a couple through Megan DePiero's group, Rise to the Top.
Okay.
I went back and I was looking for a retoucher in the last month, and I didn't want to post. I didn't want to make a post looking for retouchers if I didn't have to. And I went back through past posts that mentioned retoucher as a word, and I did find some lists of people who had asked that previously. It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. So if you want to just make a post, it could be helpful for people finding it later. It looked like it hadn't been asked in a while.
Yeah.
I ended up contacting a couple of retouchers because someone tagged someone else, but they were not tagging a retoucher. They were tagging a photographer who needs a retoucher. So I got a couple, like, I'm a photographer. I don't do retouching. I don't know what you're talking about. So I'd probably just make a post and then look at people's work, contact them, do a test, and see what you like.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
I have a similar question. It's kind of, it'll sound ridiculous, but the client came in last week on Thursday, and she narrowed it down. We did like 450 images, bunch of changes, and she's very well heeled, very wealthy, and she said, how much for all these? Like, we narrowed it down to like the 5 stars, 4 stars. And she said, how much for the 5 stars? And it's like, there's 35. So how much for the 5 stars and the 4 stars? It's like, well, there's 63 images. It'll be $24,000. And she's like, yeah, I can't do $24,000. And so she gets her assistant on the line, and he had agreed, he made me agree before the shoot that we keep it under a previous shoot which was $10,000. And I was like, okay. And so they ended up talking me down, said, we don't need retouching, just give us the images, we'll retouch them later. And ended up, I was exhausted after 3.5 hours with her. So ended up saying it's $9,001. So, but I'm just like thinking, how would you have handled something like that when someone says, I want all these, but I don't want the retouching?
I feel like I wouldn't have got the assistant on the phone if she had said I can't do 24. I might have just asked her, like, well, what can you do? I'll sell all my 4 and 5 star images unretouched for 20,000 from a size. You know, ignore the assistant. You promised the assistant something. The boss wants to spend 20,000.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what the assistant said. I don't care what I promised the assistant. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have promised the assistant anything. Maybe I would have to get the shoot, but you know, if the person with the money wants to spend, like, here, pay 10,000 for this, we'll do another session, which is one shot, and then we'll do 10,000 for that shoot, you know, 2 shoots, or whatever, you know. I think I would have probably tried to get under 20,000. I was like, you know, you're just charging if you're going to give them unretouched, then I would be, you know, how about 19,000, 5,000 off. It's probably what I would have done, you know. It's hard to imagine what I would have done because I don't have people saying, yeah, I can't really afford 24,000. But that's probably what I would have done, try to get under the 20,000 milestone and see if that works.
Thanks.
But I try to
I
avoid
was
getting the
thinking about
person
you.
on. We try to avoid getting the person on the phone who made me promise that I wouldn't do such a good job that she wants to spend over $10,000.
Oh, she was already dialing. I didn't
Okay.
know. It was like, what do you do? It's like, I'm getting Tim on the line. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay. So what ended up happening?
Yeah, she gave me her credit card. It was a little over $9,000.
Okay. Not bad.
Yeah, it was a little back and forth. She said, work with me, Kevin. She said, I only need one image, you know, and that's what it was going to be like $600 for one image. I was like,
Yeah.
no. She knew she could just say, I just want the one.
I would have
So it's like-
negotiated. I mean, yeah, I have no problem with negotiating for unretouched images at that volume.
Jim looks like he has something he wants to say. No.
Are you going to tell us how he would have gotten the 24? How you could have
No.
offered her 25,000. How about 25,000?
Yeah, yeah, you go, if you start going the opposite way, it works. every time. Well, I don't know. I think I'd still get them retouched. I think I'd still, or at least
Yeah,
if you know which ones she really liked, I'd probably get those retouched.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it'd be
she-
cool to look at the cost of the 5-star images retouch, what that would have cost, and maybe
yeah,
just
that's a great
5
point.
stars retouched.
Yeah, what'd you say? There was like 30 of them. So I mean, if
Yeah.
that's like $300, I think it's probably well worth it. Cause I
That's a great idea.
mean, 3 hours for $9,000 and you've shot for her before, so you'll shoot for her again. And
Yeah,
That's great. Thank you. Good point.
yeah, good idea. All right.
I never like when people say, "Oh, we'll retouch them." It's like, I don't know,
Yeah.
because then you're gonna retouch them, and then they're gonna look like some Instagram profile, and you're gonna say, "By Jim McAndrew," and everybody's gonna look
Yeah.
and go, wow, Jim McAndrew uses Instagram profiles, you know, and you're like, no, they retouched it.
Yeah.
You know,
I
You
don't.
could have
mean
said,
least retouched,
oh,
unretouched.
unretouched would be 30,000, but I'll give them to you
I'll have to
retouched for
try that.
19,000. You could have, that actually, I think. would
That's
be good.
brilliant.
I'm being 100%, unretouched is 30,000, but I could give them all to you retouched at a volume rate of 19,000.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's a great idea.
I mean, I don't like unretouched images. I don't release unretouched. I just
Yeah.
won't do it.
Yeah.
Not for 20 grand.
Well, then I would.
He's so,
No one's
I
coming
have
through my
integrity
doors
as a
with that.
photographer. Yeah.
I
No one's
think
coming through my doors with that kind of spend at this point.
it depends who the customer is. You know, I've worked at design agencies that have full-blown in-house photography studios and retouchers that are better than any retoucher that I've worked with in this arena. And for them, I'd be like, sure, here, go ahead. Because now that's off my plate, knowing who it's going to. So I think if you know who's going to retouch it and you've seen their work and they actually are good retouchers, it's not a problem. It's
I mean, people can put a filter on what you send them anyway.
yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
your work could be out there, not like you want it anyhow. So,
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
Great feedback. Thanks, guys.
Good sale. All right. Anybody else? Anything else? Any questions on my new pricing? Group pricing or individual pricing?
Oh, what'd
You,
you do for group?
I went from $450 per person to $495 per person with $1,000 on location for the same service. And then I did a new offering, which is 2 or 3 minute sessions, unretouched images, one per person, minimum of 15. They get an hour of my time for every 15 minutes or every 15 people or partial 15 people. So they get an hour for 15 people. They get 2 hours for 16 people, or maybe they get an hour and a half for 16 people, depending on how I do it. And I will bring an assistant. They'll pick with the assistant. So it's very quick. I'm basically relying on my skill to do a better job than other people will do with 20 minutes with a person.
And that's $450 per person?
That's $250 per person. So it's
And that was how much?
$495 for the top 10 to 15 minute sessions, one retouched image, any background, versus $250 per person for 2 to 3 minutes per person, 15 people an hour, and immediate delivery of the unretouched file. And it comes with, I will bring an assistant with me to help them choose, because they can't shoot and choose in 2 to 3 minutes.
So I'm curious about that, because whenever I shoot a group, you always seem, at least I have, most people are smooth, quick through, but there's always that person that you shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, and they're just not happy with anything you're doing.
Yeah.
And so they take a bunch of extra time, but I'm always able to get on schedule with everybody else who's, just not. So in that situation, what do you do if you get that person?
Well, I think sending them to the assistant will help. I think not reviewing images will help. Because to me, they're getting an amazing deal. Yes, if Edith doesn't like her headshots, you only pay $250 per person. I'm not a magic worker in the legal sense. So, to me, if you get 15 people shot on location for $4,750 and one person doesn't like her images or one person doesn't like his images, then you got a great deal. Like, it's for the company. The company got what they wanted. I hope. I more care about what the company wants. And I think not reviewing images is helpful. They go over there. It's like, what's the best one? Not, can we shoot some more? There's no shooting more, if I do in this situation, I have shot a couple times this quick. If I feel like I think I got something, I'm not sure, I might want to shoot a couple more minutes. I tell the assistant, I tell the person, like, take a look at those. I think we got some good ones. If you want to just step back in because you think we can do a little better, let me know and I'll squeeze you in. But other than that, they can just choose one, and it's done. I'm gonna, it's a very quick process. So we'll see how I handle that, see if that's a problem for me. I think doing the image reviews and having more time does create sometimes an expectation of like, well, we can get it better. Oh, I can get my hair fixed this way a little bit better, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of encourages people to want better images than this would.
Yeah, no, it's interesting you say that, because when I shot recently at this one company, I usually bring either my wife or one of my daughters along, and they sit there with the iPad and go over stuff. And I haven't had people come back. Only one time did someone want to come back the next day, because when she got there, she was in a major rush and her hair was, so I said, yeah, you come back tomorrow. I'm here again tomorrow. And she never did. But when I went out to Des Moines, I didn't bring anyone with me. So I left a little more time to shoot, because I knew we were going to do the image review. So now, yeah, they were coming around with me, looking at them. And maybe that's why I got myself in that situation, because they weren't technically moved on to the next station at this point. They
and
were
you're
still
not busy with anyone else. You're looking at like,
right. I mean, there's some other person standing there waiting.
Right.
Because I had, 20,
in this process, I'm shooting someone else at the moment. I'm like actually shooting. I'm not just, which one do you like?
Right.
Yeah. So I hope that I won't have that issue as much as I have.
There's a friend of mine out in Hollywood, and he does he helps on fashion shoots. He went back to school for photography, and he will go on and retouch during shoots for some high-end stuff, which sounds like it would be a good fit for you. That's a little bit, of the next level up, but something to consider.
To me, if I have it right now, so it's $200 additional to retouch images, the favorite images. So I feel like that's good when it's like, for sports or maybe fashion where you're trying to get stuff out right away. But I feel like most of the time, if they want retouch images, there's no problem to wait at least a day. So I don't want to have an on-site retoucher at the moment, although that's interesting. Maybe I will. Maybe that'll be $750 a person. Instant delivery retouched, like same day. Yeah.
You have got to have a really good retoucher to be retouching things in 5 minutes, man.
Yeah. We'll see. That's an interesting idea. But right now, I think that would be a higher price point than my premium groups.
Absolutely.
All right. Cool. Oh, and my new pricing is for $490, $495. And I'm offering $300 off to book the final week of the month so that I stack that week. I would like that week to be a $50,000 week. More, maybe 60,000.
How do you advertise that?
So on my website, I have the form. They fill out the form. It goes to the pricing page. On the pricing page, there's a button that says save $300. And then there's text under it that says book the final week of the month and save $300 off your session fee. And then they click the button. It goes to another scheduler that has just availability on the final week of the month. And as you might have seen so far, I've talked to 2 people about it on the phone and they both booked. And I think they were both going to book without the discount on the last week of the month anyway. I told them about it. I'm thinking about whether I will continue that, but right now it's public once you fill out the form. So I don't want them to find out later that I booked them. Right now, I don't want them to find out later that I booked them at the full price for the final week, which is $300 off.
How come you don't do a coupon code instead?
Yeah. I'm booking most of the people on the phone. So I hate the promo codes. I like to have none so that it doesn't have a promo code button or space to enter a promo code. If you have even one promo code, then it shows up on the booker in Acuity. So I'm thinking about taking off that button. And then if people are like, I'd really like to shoot on the 12th, then I will offer them $300 or $200 or whatever I decide to book the final week. I'm also thinking, I opened up my calendar with the new pricing. I was shooting Tuesdays and Fridays. Now Monday through Friday is open. I think I might go to Tuesday and Fridays, except for the last week of the month, which has full availability. So if they want to shoot on a Wednesday, they will book the final week. And if I need to give them a discount to get them to book the final week, then I will do that. If not, they'll be paying full price. So I'm thinking through that. I feel like I'm going to come up with something that I'll suggest to people. I'm not really ready to suggest it yet. We'll see how it goes, but that's how I'm thinking about it.
Great.
All right, let's do wins real quick. Kevin Kennedy.
Yeah, $9,000 sale last week. That was great.
That was good.
I was dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way they were talking, I thought they would buy like, one image. And
Yeah.
I was thinking, this sucks. This really sucks. Because I knew this person's like, mega wealthy, and they kept pushing like, I just need one image. And they were like, how much is that? I was like, yep, $295. It's like, why am I saying that? And then she had a great time. And at the end, she said, I feel like we're close friends now.
That's good.
I said, I'll still call you Madam Secretary. So
I would say then the 4 and 5 star images are 15,000 and it's 9,000 as a gift to your close friend. That's great, Kevin. That's a bigger individual sale than I've ever had.
But by the way, I totally messed up. I said to her, I'm in a group, a sales group, that if you make over 10,000, it, is a motivational thing
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah.
satisfy your clients. And she said, that doesn't motivate me to buy, Kevin.
Oh, you told her about that.
Yeah. And she's like, that's not helping your argument.
No, no. Yeah. Oh, well, you still made bank.
Yeah.
All right, Alyssa, I know I have a feeling what it will be, but you tell me, Alyssa, what's a
What
win?
my wins are.
Yeah.
So people have been telling me that the photos that I've been taking of them are the best photos that they've ever had, which is it's incredible.
Yep.
So that's great. And now I
You
need
weren't
to
sure you should charge after they said that?
huh?
You weren't sure that you should charge after they said that?
Well, these were my friends that I'm having come in to help me build my portfolio.
Okay.
So, but yeah, going forward, I'm going to charge other people. So
Amazing. That's really great. I know it's
Thanks.
super rewarding. To me, I think of like, when I think about how cool it is, it's cool to me partly because you get someone in there who's had headshots before, and you press the shutter and instantly you've created something that's meaningful to them, that will help them, that's better than the other headshots. It's like, there you go. There you go. I did it for you. It's really, really awesome. So congratulations.
thanks. Thank you.
Jim.
Okay, so had over a $20,000 month last month, which was my second $20,000 month, which was awesome. And then I just had a $10,000 week. So
Wow.
yeah, so I'm pretty excited.
$40,000 a month coming up.
Yeah, let's yeah, I'm praying for that, man. And I just so I don't know if you guys all know my tagline, that if you have a head, you need a headshot. So I got like a thing made for me, and I got it on the back of a t-shirt, and we're at the Philly Art Museum the other day, and we're sitting around at a table having some drinks, and I got the back here, so my shirt's just sort of here, and it just says, if you have a head, that's I guess all you can see. And someone that I know was across the way, or I said my daughter's friend. All of a sudden I see she comes over, she's hugging my daughter, and she's in marketing. She turns to me and she says, your branding is working, because I turned and looked and all I saw was, if you have a head. And in my brain I went, you need a headshot. That's Mr. McAndrew. So
cool.
yeah, keep using your stuff and put it out there. It was really cool to see, because I hadn't had it where I was really putting it out there, but it was awesome. So
I've been thinking about having an application to book a headshot, and I think it could be really cool for you. Maybe it's like an ad or something, like apply to be a client, and one of the application questions could be, do you have a head? Like,
yeah, prerequisite.
yeah, first question, do you have a head?
One
Yes.
head.
You're qualified so far. Keep going.
Think about cranes, buddy. No, not so
yes.
much. Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yep. Kevin, the other Kevin, the quiet Kevin, the Jedi Kevin. How are you?
Hi. Last month was great. Last May was 50% more than I've ever made before in a month. So I went from 10,000 to just over 15.
Great.
And then this month, currently right now, I'm already at 8. And then I have another. I have an in-person sale coming up. Something that's going to be about 4 or 5. So that's going to get me there by the end of the week.
Wow.
And then I have another couple of shoots at the end of the month after vacation. So it might be another 15. So I think with Jim, it get you 20 twice. I might get my 15 twice,
Yep.
maybe a little bit more. So excited about that. It's
Very cool. Tell us
all positive.
about your project, and especially anything related to money surrounding your library project.
Oh yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I got so much right now. So the project was started with the Malden Public Library, and all the artists in Malden, if you live in Malden, can show off their artwork. So some people sell it. I didn't sell it. The librarian said, you should do headshots for the community. I was like, well, no one's going to buy that. And she's like, well, it's just good for the community. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So I got May. So I said, so when I applied, I said the last date possible. I got about 144 people to photograph, including the mayor and a couple of representatives, state representatives and US representatives, and senators as well. So that was really cool. And I got connected with a lot of business people. So I spent probably about $1,000 in product to print everything out, maybe just a little more. I've made back about $2,500, $3,000 from the people who want to work with me. And then another guy who has a business was like, yeah, I go to Africa and Europe to recruit basketball players. They need photos. And that was our conversation where it's like, yeah, maybe we can go together next year when things really start to open up. And it's like, I also have a team of 8 people that we're building up to next year as well. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, sure.
If you want to.
Yeah, because he also bought a bunch of images for himself. And it's like, yeah, my team needs these type of images. Because he wanted the corporate pictures. So I was like, it doesn't match what you're doing because you're recruiting middle school students, high school students to get into university, college basketball players, and then to the NBA. You need non-corporate looking like pictures. So we did that. And then we did one where he's just like hanging out, he's like on his phone, like these really cool portrait sessions. And he's like, this is amazing. This is what I want for his brand. So, so that's gonna be at least another $5,000 from another client who's coming back as well. So,
How much space did this take up on the walls?
so it was 12 pictures, 12 frames, 24 by 36 lengthwise. So 21 feet, so probably about 30 feet against one wall. And then maybe another maybe 15 feet on the other side of the wall on a hallway. Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's in the Labyrinth is the most popular event.
It's very cool. That's great. How big was each image?
Just about 8 inches, I think.
Okay, cool.
What do you have? A couple images in each frame?
Yeah, I think it was like 12 images in a frame.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, so 12 by 12.
I haven't seen
44.
pictures why haven't I seen pictures of this on social?
Oh, that was all in May.
What?
It was all in May. Like I put a lot of pictures on there, in May. And then just throughout the last 6 months.
Right, but I
different
don't think
families.
I've seen pictures of the wall.
Oh, I have a couple of oh, it's really hard to take pictures of the wall because the wall is just a hallway. It's like
Well, like
walls on
a
either side.
video, walk down. I would like to see
yeah.
it on the wall if you haven't posted that.
I'll post it up this week.
Something to show the final presentation of it in the library would be awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'll do
Good job. I guess my win is probably just the pricing changes and adapting my business to, I changed the group pricing really to give Maureen a break. She thinks it would be easier to sell if it were cheaper. It might be. So she thought it would be better to have a couple options rather than just one price. So I'm excited about it because I do feel like $250 per person is real competitive with the quality of my work. And, I figure better priced photographers who aren't making bank would be at $150 a piece. So $250 for me, I think even me quick is pretty good. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. Another win is that Maureen's sales this month pay for her this month. So that makes it easy for me to keep her on. She's not costing me money. She is getting me money. She's on the positive for this month this is her third month. I was getting close to we need to talk about no base or something. Her base did go down by 50%. So that's helpful. She booked the person who bought 15 images and tipped 180 for $49.65 plus the $760 for the session. So that pays for her commission and her base. And that company is a potential, or that organization is a potential group. So she should be able to close that this month as well for another, what is it? 3,000 or 2,000 at the very least. So that's good. I'm excited that the two people I've talked to about the new pricing have booked, and it'll be very interesting to see how their sessions go. Also excited about the scheduling thing that I figured out, which will allow me to have some more sessions, at least one more session a day that I'm in the studio, and will reduce the time that I'm waiting around for hair and makeup to be done. So more money-making time. My studio is big enough to do hair and makeup on one side and headshots in the middle. So yeah, that's it. Also, I'm on the Z06 wait list, so that's cool. All right, anything else?
This call was really great. I really enjoyed the phone calls. I missed the last couple.
Awesome. You should take a look at the last call if you didn't get to see it. I can't remember whether you were on. Don't know if you watched the replay, obviously, but we reviewed 2 calls that were successful and people thought that was good too. So glad it helped. I will catch you guys later.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Jeff. Bye.